Hello everyone, today I'm going to do a more loose style of Black Eyed Susan painting. I'm more of I guess a traditional, more of a traditional artist, but I do enjoy doing this loose style of painting, and it's appear like that people really do like to learn this style of painting for some reason. And so, as I think it is probably also very beneficial to just try to practice painting. So this will be good if it inspires us to paint. So now I'm establishing the placement of the three flowers. I first use some sepia watercolor. Most of my watercolor are from Daniel Smith. And you see that the space I am reserving there, I'm actually trying to drop a little bit of a purple color there. I went out and studied Black Eyed Susan in my neighbors and various places and realized that, as with most yellow flower, most of them, the center of the flower sometimes appear like it's very brown or black, but actually nature actually are mixing their complementary color, the yellow with the purple, to make the center appear to be black. And so I decided that maybe I should include that in the painting. And while that is drying, I'm going to go over to this flower that's on the side and try to do the center. It appears like my sepia is not very intense, and so actually I will fix that at the very end if I see that the tonal value is not dark enough for the value to show up in contrast to the yellow color. Okay, I'm going to actually paint 3 head of Black Eyed Susan, but I think I'll just have 2 and hope that maybe I will do the 3rd one, so that will give this actually a little bit more time to dry before I try to paint the yellow next to it. So I will probably place the 3rd one right here. Since I am Chinese and I originally learned watercolor in the Chinese painting style, so I am a little bit more comfortable, I guess, with using the brush as a pen. But normally I would still like to use a pencil to draw the rough draft. But since this is the loose style of painting, I will try not to do that and see how it goes. Okay, so I think that the center of this Black Eyed Susan appear that it is dry enough. So now I will continue to paint the petal, freestyle painting, and mixing a cadmium yellow medium with light. I just like to do that. There's not really any particular reason we needed to. Okay. As you see me paint, you see that I really like to leave white space. You know, with traditional watercolor, it really is nice to leave the white space. It can be highlight. Sometimes it can be we can use it for other things, like separation of different leaves and feathers and such. So I am just used to that. I guess that's how I learn. And I like to, as I paint, I leave the white space there. Okay, I'm just looking actually at a picture on Pinterest. And it's not a watercolor picture. It's actually just a regular Black Eyed Susan, and I am trying to follow the shape of the petal. It's probably not really that necessary. If you are more experienced, you can actually challenge yourself to make up the petal yourself. Sometimes I think those are good practice as we know how to draw better, because nature is not always perfect. And if we wanted to do a painting that, with every petal fall exactly where you wanted them to be, sometimes we needed to make up our own shapes. And that's a really good artistic way of learning. Okay, I'm doing these petals towards the back, and since there's foreshortening going on, I will make them shorter. So just to indicate that they actually roll down on the other side, and you can't really see, it's just bend down on the other side. You can't really see the rest of the petal. Okay, and so now we're gonna need to fill in these space here. I guess this is kind of stressless, because you can just do whatever your eyes tells you that is balanced. I guess that's the composition of the flower. If it feels like it's balanced to you, or actually, as for me, if it looks like, closer to what the picture is, then I'm happy. I decided to add a little petal on the back here, just to make it look like it's slanted upward a little bit. Okay, and I will come back after the paint is a little dry and work on that a little bit more to kind of separate the petal. And now I'm working on this one here. This second Black Eye Susan, I'm actually looking at my earlier practice paintings, so we don't really have to worry too much about copycat other people if we can try to decide what is pleasing to our eyes, so we can make up the composition as we go. Okay, since I have one piece of this petal standing up, I want this probably will look better if this is a little bit shorter. And I can see that with the shape, how it's going, it would be nice to have a little bit of a longer piece. Yeah, probably over there. It should just make the painting a little more balanced. This should be one petal coming over here. And the same thing I'm doing, just leaving a little bit of white to suggest highlight. And here is the same thing, I'm trying to make shorter shadows so that it will give the suggestion that it actually roll back at the back. But this one can be a little bit longer. I think as you paint more, you will be more easier for you, a little more easier for you to look as you paint, to judge the placement of everything, and it becomes really fun actually. Okay, I like the way that one kind of come out, and I think for that one it is done. Okay, at this point I'm going to change to a finer brush. This one is a Princeton Aqua Elite. Okay, and I'm going to use a quinacridone gold color from Daniel Smith. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to suggest the separation and the darkness of the petal as it comes closer to the center of the flower. If I don't know if you can see that as I put this a little bit darker, it kind of separate that petal from the one underneath it. Okay, just a little bit, not a lot is really needed. Okay, and it gives the flower a little bit more dimensional and not as flat, I think. Okay, I'll do the same thing for this one. Okay, yeah, and that one, that little line there will, and this one need a little bit of separation, right? So I can do the same thing. If I'm doing not as loose style, I will probably go in here and soften the line. But since this is a loose style of flower, I probably don't have to worry about doing that. And that is maybe a little bit over here, right there, to separate those two better, and that's sufficient. Okay, let's work on the petals of the third Black Eye Susan. Oh, no, actually, sorry. What I wanted to do is actually do the stems first. Okay, what I'm gonna do is make up some, a few different green, and probably put a little dab of cadmium yellow light on it, with the green, and to lighten the green out a little bit. Okay, so from there, that's where I think it's most pleasing to let the stem come down. Okay, come down to here. As you observe with Black Eye Susan, they usually have a little bit of a leaf just right close to the flower. Okay, and then they become bigger leaves. What I'm gonna do, just use some artist's freedom to put another small leaf right there. Because for my composition to work, I want to have a bigger leaves coming there, and so give the other flower a chance to be behind the leaves. Okay, and you'll see that in a minute. Okay. Okay, so the motion is push and lift. Okay, and if you say, oh, I want the part that's closer to the stem to be a little bit darker, you can add that at this time when the leaf is still a little bit wet. And you have to do more of this if it is more of a traditional, not this loose style, okay? And so I would like this stem to come in. I guess it could come in this way. The composition might be good that way and make it look better. Okay, so I did a little bit of a push here. That was an accident, but I'm going to take advantage of my accident and turn that into a leaf in the front. And that small leaf over there can just go over there. Okay, and that wasn't in my original painting, but it turns out to be quite lovely. Okay, I'm on to the third, the petals of the third Black Eye Susan. Okay, and this brush is traditional Chinese happy dot details. Okay, so now what I'm trying to do is have this flower, this Black Eye Susan actually behind the leaves. The leaf, the single, I guess, that single leaf, okay? And so this one, I'm going to not have petals going up. All the petals are just going to come down, okay? So they're going down, and there's no going up. Okay, I hope I can accomplish that. Okay, and this might be one little suggestion. Now, but since this one is more behind those, our color doesn't have to be as strong. Okay, that one seems to come down quite prettily. And then I know that I probably need that one like that. And I also am looking at just some of the thing I made up earlier as I was practicing before making this video. Okay, so now I need something over here. Okay, I will make that attach attach to that and just kind of fill it in so that it looks like, of course, the part that's closer to the middle it need to be full, right? Okay, and that is it. And I would like to use a little bit of quinacridone gold, but really just to suggest that the petals are darker when it's around the center, so not really taking too much effort to separate the petal, because so it can things that are at the back, towards the back, is less details, right? And I think I will do a little bit of a stem, not really even that much, just a little bit of a stem here. Okay, maybe a leaf here. Okay, so it's the same pushing and pushing. Okay, so we have some kind of a suggestion of a leaf there. Okay, so when I went out to my neighbors to look, the leaves are more fuller as it go down. And so what I'm going to do to make it very simple, I'm just going to do a wash of green and purple to suggest that there are lots of leaf around, and also some other black-eyed Susan around, but not actually really painting them. So I guess I'll just start from here. Okay, I bring in some green color with indigo. I really like indigo for background. Okay, so now that I put in the first layer of water, I'll drop in some indigo, so it kind of, make this leaf in the front stand out a little bit more. Okay, and hopefully it's a different of colors and tone, so that I can leave the original leaf on the flower alone. And usually what I do is just try to get some water to bring it out. Okay, so I'm bringing it out, and I can leave this part alone for a little bit because there's a puddle of water there, which is a good thing because it will give me some time, it will buy me some time. So hopefully there's not a harsh line forming over there. It will buy me some time so that I can think about, oh, what should I put there? I think I'll put some purple. When I do background, I really like to use all the color that I use on the main subject. And a lot of people like to do background first. I'm just not one of those people. I really like to do the background last. So I would know, oh, maybe the subject is kind of pale. I need to, make the background a little bit more dark so that there's a contrast in the tone. You can see that a little bit of a green run into the yellow. I don't worry too much. I'll just soften that edge. And maybe pretend that I mean to have that happen. I meant to have that happen. Okay, so I would put a little bit more. Just keep going with the background. It's almost like a photograph when you know that there's not really a need to put too much of a effort, because our eye is actually focusing on the flowers and the stems and the leaves, but not really a lot of background. But of course, if you wanted to do a very, very detailed painting, you could just paint all the leaves there. Sometime I will come up and do a suggestion of a leaf with a lot of water, and so it kind of fade into the background. It suggests that there are leaves over there. As I'm coming up here, I think, okay, it's time to drop in some purple, isn't it? this part is really fun for watercolor because you're not really worried, you just want it to drop in color. And I think like today I seems to have put a little too much water over here, but it doesn't really bother me. If you run into the leaves a little bit, that's okay. Okay, let's work on this part over here. And this part is more like the eye level, so I could actually put in some yellow and suggest that there are actually other flowers behind the three main flowers. But it's all muted. We can't see that very well. And because they are flower, so we could actually put a little bit of sepia in here. Suggest the center. There's the center of a flower in there, if you can see that. Okay, and then back to some green. But in nature, as we get to the top of the painting, the image, you know, it's probably more natural if the color up here are not as dark as the one contrast underneath the bush, because as the sunshine on it, the greens are not as dark as it should be down here. And so you will try to use less indigo and more green and yellow, I guess. Okay, I just, for the fun factors, I would like to put a little bit more yellow over here and suggest that there might be another flower over there. Okay, let's work on, let's finish up this little area and drop a little bit of color over there. Okay. Okay. So I'm not really good at doing this painting and talking at the same time. I probably have done this twice, but I do not like to do voiceover because I felt like I'm trying to catch up with the video, and so either say something not correct. There's too many things to think about at the same time. So I've decided to do this, and so that it's more I'm talking to you while I'm painting. Okay, so in order to balance that, I think I would make another suggestion of maybe there's a flower right there. This is, you know, to me, I think it's the funnest part of doing watercolor. It actually gives you a lot of freedom to just drop in the color and don't worry about it. Okay, so I'm coming back down here, so I would like to put in a little more indigo in the green so that it will be more suggestion of some other leaves that's going on down here, and darker because they're kind of shaded by the flowers on top. Okay, I think that is it. Let me take a look and see if there's any, I think this is good. Anyway, thank you very much for watching.